Y'all want to see a gathering after the Super Bowl? Here it is.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to watch football, not get married. What are we doing here?
I've gotten a lot of baby powder. People are like, man, what'd you get out of baby powder for? I think I'm going to have to smack the hell out of a lot of people this year. I just can feel it.
Hold on. The only thing you should be getting married to in the fall is football.
Hey, everybody. How is everybody? Happy Super Bowl. That was not the Blonde Blitz. That was definitely no weddings in the fall, but that is fine. We love Ben Troop. We miss him. We wish he was here. We wish he was at Super Bowl with us. All good. But happy Super Bowl, everybody. This is just a little coffee talk. Obviously, Super Bowl is over. My apologies for last week. I actually ended up in the hospital last week. So, but I'm alive, I am well, and I'm ready to talk ball. So the Super Bowl 60 is obviously over. Seahawks beat the Patriots 29-13. We'll talk all about the game. But first, the Blonde Blitz. We were honored to be a part of Super Bowl week. We had a booth at Radio Row. We shared it with the San Francisco Bay Review. Shout out to Bridget Jones and Kelly from I-5 there. I wanted to get the crew together. Everybody is here. We got Todd, Marcel Durham, Richard Joel, Shay Holland, Carrie Mura, 333 Ask Carrie, and Mel the Clothing was also with us. She's not here tonight, but sent in a video. Guys, how is everybody?
I'm still on cloud nine. I don't even know.
Yeah,
here. You've been on Radio Row. We've all been at big events. You get ready for something, and the button's flashing at you when you push it, and you realize after you push it, it's the wrong daggone button.
It's all good, Ryan. We love you anyway, guys. I'm still first of all, being in the hospital last week did not help at all, but I'm still recovering. I don't know about anybody else.
It feels like the game ended 10 minutes ago. I'm still on cloud nine. I mean, the amount of people that I met that I've looked up to in my life was like everywhere you turn, there was another NFL legend. I still don't even know if I'm dreaming or not. That was the most unbelievable experience.
Well,
and Todd, I thought you were talking about me, Todd. Sorry.
Of course, naturally.
Well, and Todd, I have to say, you touched down literally. You got there. First of all, it took Richard and I almost 8 hours to get to San Francisco. We drove and never drive an electric car. I should have documented the entire thing. We had to stop and charge 4 times. We saw Todd in the morning and we picked up some stuff for the booth. And then Todd's texting us at 1 p.m. on Monday being like, are you guys here yet? And we're like, no, we're still 6 hours away. So,
please forgive me on that, Deb. Please forgive me.
This is why me and electric cars will never get along. First of all, I can't fit in the doggone thing. I'm too tall.
But Todd, you literally picked up your credential and went. Like, you were just on a mission. You got so many amazing interviews. Tell me about your week and your perspective.
Well, I didn't know what to expect. I'm like, we're going to the Super Bowl, and I thought that was great. And then we're on our way to the media first day with the Patriots and the Hawks. And then next thing you know, I see both teams walk in, and next thing you know, we're all on the same floor as them. Next thing you know, I'm walking up to the players and asking the starting running back for the Patriots questions about one of his friends growing up, which is my cousin. And my head's busting with the Boys podcast is right there. Like, my head was blown immediately. I happened to forget my audio equipment at a comedy show I had 2 days before, so I was woefully underprepared. But I'm like, well, we're here. I have a tripod. Let's get some footage. And I was just nonstop. I just couldn't believe that. I'm like, oh, this is what I've seen on TV for the past 40 years of my life. I was just blown away.
And you had 2 amazing interviews. Richard, were you about to say something?
No, I was going to say, I remember, Deb, the first time you and I had the first time we did that. It is so overwhelming and is so like mind-blowing that first time. You're like, and Todd, you didn't even get to experience the full breadth of what an opening night's really like. We've had the ones in Vegas and Arizona. It was like a spectacle. It was like Mardi Gras. It was, it was crazy. But it is so mind-blowing the first time you're in that experience of being 3 feet away from these star players and saying, oh, I get to ask them anything I want. And yeah, we grew up watching that on ESPN and watching it on newscasts. So it's great to see you go through the first one, Todd, to be there with you and experience that. It was amazing. And hopefully it'll be like that for you every single time. But it is still amazing to go and be part of that.
Oh, and there was free food. So I was like, I'm not leaving. I'm just not leaving. Like, I don't know what you guys think I'm supposed to do here, but I pay rent here now.
We missed the free food. And matter of fact, for opening night, Richard and I walked in, and there we walked in with the Seahawks, literally. Like, we were behind them, and we just kept going. And I'm filming. I'm behind one of the players, and we're like walking, and the cheerleaders are there. We weren't supposed to be in that space, but we just walked in anyway, like we own the place, and we got some great footage there. And then obviously we ran into you, Todd. But and Todd, you had some great interviews during the week. Jordan Mailata, a friend from Philly, actually just texted me last night, and she's like, "I want to make sure you saw this." And it was your interview with Jordan Mailata in Radio Row, talking about the Blonde Blitz, and then also you had a great interview with Fox Sports, and I want to play that because look at this guy. I just have to showcase this.
Well done, Todd.
Yeah, I was just, I was on cloud nine and like. I don't know when kids like I was a kid in a candy store, you name it, everything. I mean, Marcus Allen, Warwick Dunn, Lorenzo Neal, they're just people that I've looked up to forever were just right there. I couldn't believe, like I was like a small child.
I literally have to say, Lorenzo came over to the Blonde Blitz booth, and I had an interview with him. And Todd was like fooling around with the camera. Todd helped a lot with the camera for all the interviews. And he wasn't, I didn't hear him. I realized he didn't know that Lorenzo was sitting there. And Todd literally turned around and Lorenzo was in his face. And the look of pure shock on Todd's face, like one of the biggest NFL players, legends, 16 years in the NFL, is literally sitting in front of me and I don't even know what to do. Like the look on your face was brilliant. You were expecting him, but you weren't expecting him in that moment. And it was great.
I wish I had a hidden camera on my face because I was like, I didn't know if to be like excited or terrified because this guy could give me a concussion with his fingertips. Like I just like, this is a frightening human being, but also like one of the nicest people I've ever met. He gave everyone the time of day. He blocked for Mike Allstott, which is like a rhinoceros blocking for another rhinoceros. It doesn't make any sense that you should be credentialed to do that, but there he was talking to you, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm here.
Brian, do you have that interview of Todd, the Fox Sports interview, to play?
You mean this one?
Yep.
Flashback Friday. They are not playing. They're breaking this place down. Has been housing us for the whole week here on Radio Row. It's been an excellent time for sure. Thank you to Sean. It's like if we were on the basketball court, and I'd be well, it is not switched to life-changing, wet extra large flushable dude wipes because wetter just cleans better. Available on it at retailers. Best clean, pants down. I don't know how Rob G is going to get through security because he has at least 192 boxes. My goodness. All right, we're here now. Special guest Todd Marcel Durham with Blonde Blitz podcast. It's just a little bit interesting and amazing how folks can help out. Tell us a bit more about yourself and the passion behind the podcast.
Yeah, of course. First off, you guys had the Dude Wipes commercial right before I got on. That felt personal a little bit.
Don't worry, everybody in the player, they got it too. Yes.
Well, I appreciate it. Listen, Blonde Blitz podcast, hosted by Deb Whitcas. I'm just a lowly correspondent with it. And empowering women in sports, allowed to talk about women's sports for different athletes and different general managers. And there's one specific reason why I'm on here today, and that is to promote a friendly competition between 10 and 12s to raise money to cure a rare disease that's been terminal for 70 years. Wow. Technically speaking, you know the buzz around the Super Bowl. eyeballs got onto something, he cured overnight. Disease is called in short, working on this disease, and that's OHSU near Seattle and UMass Chan in Boston. Those teams are ready for Super Bowl.
Wow.
I think to myself, like, what a wonderful opportunity to really take advantage of the momentum of the fan bases. And if they go to givebutter.com /big game for NPAN, then they can choose to support the Pac-12 or the
that when people get together and put stuff together, you can make it different.
Oh, we've seen it time and time again.
Right? Am I right?
Oh, and so in the Division I AA semifinals, Montana versus Montana State, but we put the same campaign together, put a little video out there, and in 3 days' notice, we raised $11,000 in just a little section of Montana. So I thought to myself, from state, what could
I love it, man. I love you helping out a friend, helping out their son, and taking this on this passion. And in turn, we're going to hopefully stay some lives as well.
Amen.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit more, but I know that you've had some fans, not necessarily fans, but some teams. You got some players that have jumped in on the
100%. So I've been doing interviews on the press junkets with the pool reporters. I was on the day. So Mapu, we had a long 15-minute interview. I interviewed Jordan Malata. He's on camera saying that his foundation is going to donate. We have, my gosh, man, so much support. I just spoke to Larry Fitzgerald's manager. Nice. She's interested. We have. I spoke to the governor of Massachusetts today.
Oh, wow.
And her senior advisor. So they're going to be following up because Shireen and her family is in Boston until March, because Loic had surgery and he's recovering. So anybody could donate.
Give that out for everybody.
Yeah, I'm going to spell it out. Give butter, like giving something, and then butter like you spray on toast. Givebutter.com /big game for and that's AN. And you can pass, or if you don't care about any of those teams, right, and you're a divisional rival in the NFC West, and you're a Rams fan, and you want to donate to the Pats, go for it. Go nuts.
Well, we love it, man. And what I want to say is a big shout out to you for taking on a passion like this and spending your time. And I know we've seen you here now for a couple of days. You've been here, you've been knocking on the doors, you've been talking to people.
And we thought it was important enough to give up.
Well,
and that's why you're on.
And that says a lot about you guys, very seriously, because I've talked to a lot of people, and family that has pecan around the world is reading on the Loving Loic Foundation. By the main foundation that is sponsoring this fundraiser campaign is lovingloic.org.
Yes, we're literally out of 5 seconds here, but Todd, we appreciate
Thank you, guys.
Wishing all the best. Help can, man. We're out, brother.
You guys are the best.
All right, thanks, Todd. Real quick, I just wanted to make sure everyone. There was some technical difficulties there. I'm having some trouble hearing it myself. I don't know if you are, but Todd, I just wanted to get just an overview of what pecan is and have you explain and where our audience can help out.
Yeah, first off, I do own other clothes. Let's be clear on that. I just wanted to have continuity here. But pecan is a rare genetic disease that affects 1 in 1 million children worldwide. My friend's child has this disease. And when it got diagnosed, there was no cure at the time. That was 2 years ago. And she reached out to hundreds of the hospitals, and she found 2 that were willing to share data with one another. One of them was OHSU Hospital in Portland. The other one was UMass Chan Medical in Boston. And they collectively said, if you raise $5 million, we can cure this rare disease that's been terminal for 70 years. And I just thought that was an interesting coincidence that both teams were represented in the Super Bowl, and that it was enough of a story to share with all the different people on Radio Row. And several people have gotten back to me. We have a lot of progress, up to and including Roger Goodell and the office of Mike McDonald, Super Bowl winning head coach. So we are $2.5 million away from potentially curing a disease that's been terminal for 70 years. And I just think that's an exciting thing to share. And I appreciated the opportunity to be on Radio Row talking about it.
Yeah. And like I said, Todd took his credential and went. Like, it was insane. So thank you for doing that, Todd. Shay, you were also with us working with the Blonde Blitz, but also your own podcast, Game Day with Shay. How was your week?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know where to begin. Yeah, I did not make it for that first night because of the driving from LA, then San Francisco, then San Jose. So I decided to take it slow and come the second night. And the whole week did not disappoint, but obviously the highlight was definitely being at the game and having seats so close to the field was unbelievable.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. Carrie, you came in towards the end of the week.
Yes, unfortunately, I had to just be dropped in on Friday, but it was nothing but amazing. I saw pink carpets, red carpets, all the carpets, and the events were super fun, and meeting all of the various athletes and owners and, just media row, radio row folks. It's just been great. And actually meeting all of you all. So thank you for making the experience awesome for me.
Absolutely. And this was your first Super Bowl too. What did you take away from it?
Honestly, it's a huge production is what I see of it. And I just think that, I don't know what to really expect in the future because I don't know what the past was, but I can only imagine that, things might, be a little different, especially since it will be in LA. Super Bowl 61, go Rams, right? So let's go.
I think, to tap onto what you just said there, Carrie, I was trying to showcase to a lot of people, on social media, the behind the scenes of the week, because I don't think people realize all of the stuff that goes into, whether it be Media Row, the events, the parties, the charity events, the Jen Welter stuff. So much happens during the week of the Super Bowl that nobody knows about. And you got to see a little bit of it, but Todd probably saw a lot of it. It's amazing. It's amazing what happens during
it really is. It takes an army to put all of that together, so hats off to everyone who had even an ounce to do with that,
Well,
even down to the folks that hand out flyers, it's crazy.
It's a big production. It's a week-long production. I know I personally started at 6 a.m. every morning in makeup and then went to at least midnight, if not 2 a.m. Richard, let's go over a little bit what we did from after, Monday. Richard was with me the entire week. So we kind of, hit all of the parties. Monday was media night. Tuesday, I don't even remember.
Tuesday was press conferences, and then the media night, the big media night party, which was a lot of fun.
But Shay was there too.
Shay was there at the EA Sports.
The media night wasn't as big as it normally is. We're used to Vegas. We're used to New Orleans. And the media parties have always had shows like Jabberwockies and dancers and women,
dancers and jugglers and magicians.
Yeah, it was not like this. It was good. The food was good, but it just wasn't, there wasn't that many activations. And it was a good time. It was a good time to catch up with your media friends because, you're always in front of a microphone or in front of a camera and you don't really get to say hi. But as far as having a fun dancing time, it wasn't that type of party.
Yeah, I think it was more to show off the
Stop comparing it to the last couple of years because nothing topped Vegas or Arizona. LA will probably top it this coming year. But it was nice to just sit, relax, enjoy. I'll tell a little funny story is that Deb and I had to drive everywhere. Everything was an hour and a half, 2 hours away with traffic. And so we decided finally to take the shuttle to the media party, only to arrive and there'd be no shuttles. So we still had to take an Uber at the last minute to get to the party. It was nothing short of a travesty with the transportation for us all week long. But we went to the media party. We did some press conferences with the Seahawks, with the Patriots, with the coaches, with the quarterbacks, which is always interesting to see. I think for myself, I always kind of sum up who I think is going to win based on how they answer questions and their body language. And, I had Seahawks by 14 after the week, after seeing everybody. I was close. 16 was the points, but I was close. But what else? We went to the players' party. We went to the Jaws Cigars party.
Yes, we went to we covered Jen Welter's Gridiron Girls Camp on that Saturday. She had 50 high schoolers that were, flag football. Also, the Veterans game was right after. That was extremely special. And we went to The
You went
Shack.
to Shaq's, you went
Yeah,
to
Shack
Starbucks.
Party.
Yeah.
Some of those late night ones, I was like, I'm out. You can cover it for me because, yeah, those late nights were starting to get hard towards the end of the week.
Sports Illustrated party, the
I had to bring
Playmakers.
home the souvenir from Shaq's party here. You know, Shaq.
I need mine.
You guys.
Do those have magical?
Deb ate all the pineapple.
I did. I literally picked out the pineapple from the candy.
Richard, do those have magical properties? They kind of look like it, maybe.
I'm sure they probably do. Oh, wait a second. I got one more prop.
I want to see about I want to learn about those footballs.
See, this is
Oh, I was gonna say
all this is making me determined to be.
At Shaq's Funhouse, who came home a winner?
Oh yes, Richard was it. So Shaq's Funhouse is a huge carnival.
That's right.
And Richard was very good at the balloon game and the water balloon game, and he kept on popping the balloons, and he won. He was the only one of us to win a stuffed animal. Shay, you were saying something?
I was gonna say I don't want to leave out the fashion show too, because that was a big highlight for me. That was where there were so many former players and their wives at the NFL off the field NFL wide association.
And it was their 25th anniversary. It's a charity event. Sharice Brown is the original founder of Off the Field, so she was there with her husband Tim Brown. And it was. I mean, it was packed full. It was a great
packed
show.
out. Yeah.
We also attended the Lee Steinberg party.
Mm-hmm.
The Lee Steinberg 39th party, or 39th.
I got to interview Lee again on Radio Row. Was very honored. Always, he left Stephen Smith to come interview with me. I was honored. And then
let's not forget Kathy Ireland. Your interview with Kathy Ireland.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm. Delightful.
That will be on social soon. She's just such a lovely woman. I mean, she's my idol. She's an entrepreneur, Sports Illustrated model, actress, entrepreneur, businesswoman. I mean, she's all the things. Richard was very excited because he's always wanted to meet her. So he was excited to see her as well.
Deb, don't forget about the Taste of NFL.
Yes, the Taste of NFL. Carrie and I got to go there with Bridget and Kelly. That was a ton of fun. They had I couldn't eat anything because of my food allergies, thank God, because that's actually why I ended up in the hospital, not that night, but last week. But they had they had a bunch of players actually signing balls. So I came home with a ball full of NFL players' signatures. So that was really, really cool and really special. And there was some great eats and some great drinks there as well. That's definitely somewhere I want to go next year for sure.
Well, I just thought it was amazing that they had different stations of food, but they had different sponsors like Rice Roni, and they these chefs had to make actually renowned celebrity chefs, like Kat Cora was there, and she was actually serving the food, so very involved, and yeah, it was a great charity and cause that was related to Hoag Hospital.
Everyone
communities.
Yeah, everywhere you turned, there was an NFL player or someone that you knew or a celebrity like that. It was a room full of who's. It was insane. Well, let's talk about the game. Shay, you were lucky enough to go. Richard and I and Jen Welter, we all went to a VIP watch party, but Shay was actually at the game. How did you get tickets?
So I have a friend. Well, I used to live in San Francisco, and a friend of mine, it's his bucket list dream. He's an older gentleman who happens to be blind, but loves sports, has always wanted to go to a Super Bowl, but needed someone that could, help him through everything since his wife is unable to go anymore. So that was the connection, and it did not disappoint. I know on TV it may not have looked like much of a game because it wasn't a lot of, what we're used to seeing in terms of quarterback and passes and all that. But in person, it was like watching hand-to-hand combat. It was so exciting in person.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, that definitely did not translate to the TV.
No.
It was definitely a defensive game, which we all knew it was going to be a defensive game. You had the number one defense in the league there, and then the Patriots weren't far behind, so we knew it was going to be a defensive game, and it obviously was. But what are some things that the audience, that you got to see that the audience at home didn't?
Well, I think why it didn't translate as well to the TV audience, It felt like they really sanitized some of the things, like the player fights. And I get that maybe they didn't want to show that, but there was a fist fight in the fourth quarter. And it was like, the mom and me, the whole game was like, don't hurt each other. Don't hurt each other. Because it started even in the second quarter. It looked like it was going to be a brawl with both teams, and they would cut to commercial. So you guys weren't seeing the intensity that we were. And especially because of where our seats were, I think we were maybe 20 yards from the field. In fact, I had some friends that were in the nosebleed seats, and we sent them a picture, and they're like, oh my God, you could go score your own touchdown. So I think also just being able to be that close to the action made it super exciting. They didn't show some of the antics that were going on. It was actually the most humorous game I've ever been to of any sport. I've been to baseball, basketball, football, but what was happening behind the scenes, they were also cutting like the streakers, and they weren't really streakers. They were partially dressed, but they were hilarious. The guy made it 40 yards down the field, and none of the NFL security could catch him. It was like, so everybody is standing up going, go, go. He was so fast. And so it wasn't just a streaker. It was like, this guy is like, he should try out. And then one of the Patriots players literally steps in, intimidates the guy, and he goes down. But the home audience didn't get to see any of like that off the, the things, the antics that were going on behind the scenes. Another funny one that sticks out in my mind, I had looked down as it was becoming halftime. We were debating whether to go get something to eat or whatever. And all of a sudden I look up, and there's these trees with legs running onto the field. And we realized, it's the whole halftime display is humans hidden in those side of those trees. And that was the fastest way to get them on the field, was to literally, the props were humans inside of them. And you didn't see that part of it either. Obviously, they don't want you to see the preparation for the halftime show. But the preparation to me was actually better than the show.
Well, and speaking of the halftime show, I thought it was amazingly produced from the TV screen. So, obviously, did you watch it?
That was one of the elements. Yeah, I did read a little bit about it, obviously, because of the design and architectural angles, and a lot of it was, based on a village, and there was houses and everything. But it was optimized for TV, so it did not translate, in my opinion, to the stadium audience. So, for example, where we were seated, you never even saw Bad Bunny because he's way on the other end. That was a huge, it was set up like a village, so you could see how long and huge it was. So he's down below, so you never even see him for the first maybe 3 quarters of that performance for a lot of the audience, because again, it was optimized for TV. So there was a real disconnect. So you really just kind of tuned out because you can't see them. And most of the people we were sitting with were a bunch of crazy Australians, which was so much fun.
So did they happen to show it on the big screen in the stadium for you?
They might have, but again, at that point, because also we were in the Seahawks section, and that game was still close at halftime. So nobody in our section it seemed like they hadn't breathed. So finally at halftime, our entire section was like, okay, now we can get a bite to eat. Now we can meet each other. And because my guest is blind, and the NFL was doing a pilot program testing this device for the blind, everybody in our section started wanting to come over and talk and understand the device. So we ended up talking the entire halftime to everybody around us. I will say, Seahawks fans, I had no idea y'all were so friendly. So, because I was originally going to sit on the Patriot side since I went to school in New England, but my friend wanted to sit on the Seahawks side, and I was like, but he really wanted to support the conference. And I will just say the fans, I actually was quite shocked by the fans, just how friendly they were.
Yeah, the Seahawks fans were really nice that I ran into, at least during Super Bowl week too. What about the commercials? Did anybody have any comments about the commercials? Anyone have a favorite commercial that they saw?
I wasn't that impressed by the commercials myself. Can't even remember one.
My wife was too busy stuffing me with food.
Okay.
Every time commercial happened, my wife was too busy bringing in a plate of food for me. And as soon as I would because we took notes to try to decide which one was the best on my show, Snowman in the Morning. And as soon as I had a chance to make a decision, here comes my beauty in here. Say, here, honey, try this. Okay. And that plate was gone. So I didn't even see many of the commercials because there was kind of food in front of me.
That makes sense. We had a ton of food in front of us as well. All right, guys, let's wrap it up. Let's give one thing that stood out the most for you during Super Bowl week, and then we'll say goodbye to this season. Brian, go ahead. You go first.
The ignorant amount of interviews that I did, I'll combine it. The amount of interviews that I did during Super Bowl week with all my friends who wanted to pop on, and a shout to you, Deb, for being one of my favorite pickers throughout the season on my morning show. Deb was an absolute delight. When I presented to her, I said, "You want to be one of my pickers for the year?" She jumped all over and said, "Yeah, let's go for it. Maybe it'll pave a way for you to get to San Francisco." Fortunately, it didn't. I'm hoping that will come true, and my wife and I can make it to Los Angeles for Super Bowl 61.
All right, Todd.
Defense wins championships. That's simple.
You're right. And they did. Carrie, go ahead.
They did there.
Yeah, I really enjoyed all that media row stuff and meeting Casey and that whole crew, Nathan, and it was a great experience, and the professionalism and also just the insight, the knowledge. It was great for me being not completely in 100%, the football world. So yeah, it was great. Thank you for the experience, Deb.
Of course. Richard, this is your 5th or 6th Super Bowl?
Something like that. First of all, I want to give it a shout out to Deb and the Blonde Blitz. Nobody works harder leading up to the Super Bowl week and the Super Bowl week. Deb, you really did go from like 5 in the morning until 1 or 2 in the morning every single day. You did tons of interviews. You were always energized. You were always happy. It didn't matter. You didn't eat for days on end, I think, but you still brought the energy and the humor and the interviews. And so that's first of all, I just want to say a big shout out to you. Certainly, it was great to meet you, Carrie, and Todd. I had met you guys before today. Always good to see you. So it was great to have, a kind of a base of peeps out there, to work this time around, which made it so much more fun. I'm looking forward to LA. I think just in general, the vibe and energy around the Super Bowl week is always exciting. For me, it's funny, 2 years ago, I went to the game in Las Vegas, and the week leading up to it was more exciting than the game, even though the game was super exciting. So I just enjoyed the week, meeting everybody, meeting new people, and being around the energy of the Super Bowl.
And Shay.
I used to live in San Francisco, and so what was hard was trying to combine seeing old friends with trying to work. And so it's hard for me to say, because seeing old friends, I was just in tears because these are friendships that have been for so long, and they just were so encouraging. And so it was to be a combination of the game, and when you're in the stadium and the confetti drops, and just there's no other moment I think that I've experienced like that. And just watching everybody grab the confetti in their plastic bags. I didn't know I was supposed to bring a plastic bag to take home confetti.
Put it in your pockets next time.
Bra or something.
Right.
Put it in your pockets.
Yeah.
Well, and I wanted to say, guys, first of all, thank you all for being there with me. Brian, you weren't, but you were there in spirit, and you will be there in LA. So thank you so much for your help and your talents, and and helping out and helping the Blonde Blitz be what it is. I couldn't do it without you guys. So I appreciate you. I love the fact, that it was great to have a booth and to have that walk in and have that neon flashing sign of the Blonde Blitz, right next to around Pat McAfee and around EA Madden and around Fox Sports. And it was a really special time, and the energy was great. So thank you all for, bringing your energy and the positivity and being able to talk ball. So thank you. And guys, to my audience, thank you for tuning in this season. Could not do it without you. And good news, the Blonde Blitz is going to the NFL Combine. We'll be there next week. We'll be bringing you a Combine show. We'll be bringing you a draft show this season, as well as a show once a month until we do it all again next season. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. And thanks for being here. And we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.